सर्वे स्वरूपे सर्वेशे सर्वे शक्ति समन्विते भयेभ्यस्त्राहिनो देवी दुर्गे देवी नमोस्तुते रामाय रामभद्राय रामचंद्राय वेदसे रघुनाथाय नाथाय सीताय पतये नमः हरि ओम Jai Mata Di, Jai Siya Ram. Welcome to Hinduism in Focus. We had commenced this great festival of Navaraatri yesterday, March 19th. I would like to extend Shubh Navaraatri to all of you, and to, on behalf of the Sabha, also wish you all the very best. And I pray that this process of observing Navaraatri bring to us inner joy, upliftment and satisfaction, and that we grow closer to our divine self, which is the very essence for what Navaraatri is set up for. So yesterday we had continued a discourse that we started Monday, and from that point we will continue today. And what we are showing is that this Navaraatri, which has three names, Vasant-Chaitra-Raama, three names, they have different connotations, but there's an underlying common thread which represents one thing as to the relevance of it to you and I, the seeker, the sadhaka, or the bhakta, the devotee, which you and I are supposed to be. And that one thing is that Vasant, which is spring, represents renewal, rejuvenation. Chaitra, which is the commencement of the Hindu New Year in the month of Chaitra, represents renewal, rejuvenation. Ramachandra represents the goal of this renewal, the goal of life. Bhagavan himself, Paramatman, the Supreme Lord, who manifests into the human form on Ram Navami, which is the highest or the concluding period, concluding occasion of this grand festival of Navaratri. He meant the goal of this rejuvenation. All the rejuvenation and renewal of the spirit within is to attain the ultimate goal, which is Ramachandra. And the Navaratri is set up in such a way to aid us, the Bhakta. So Navaratri is a serious time. You know, apart from the outward observance and the festivities, which are all good, they create the right atmosphere. At the individual level, it is beyond every other thing. Look, all of us should go to our satsang. All of us should read. All of us should listen to our bhajans. All of us should bow down to the grand murti of Divine Mother. We should bow down to Lord Ramachandra. We should bow down to Sri Hanumanji, to Bhagavan Krishna, and do our arati. They create, all these things create the right atmosphere, that from that gross or the external level of sadhana, it now trickles down now. When all of this is done, comes to the individual who questions himself now. Am I rising spiritually? Yes, and in Navaratri is set up that when all of this is done each night, we have to go back now and rethink, rekindle the real spirit for our inward upliftment. And that thing comes with the renewal of the prakriti, of the nature in spring, the renewal of the time in Chaitra, and the ultimate renewal, in fact, the ancient new. Ramachandra is ancient new. It is old and ever new, which is Parabrahman, the Supreme Self, coming in our life as Lord Rama. This is the idea, which is called Ram Navami. And to do that requires a tapping into the Shakti, or the energy of the human being, which is within us. That is called Durga. And we show how that energy from Kriya Shakti, which is called energy of dynamism, Icha Shakti, the energy of the will, and now Jnana Shakti, the energy of wisdom, the power of Jnana, of knowledge. It is this knowledge now that liberates. Ram comes as Veda Purusha, the embodiment of that knowledge. We want to have that knowledge, and we have to prepare ourselves for that knowledge. When Rama manifests in the heart of the Bhakta as a little baby, that Bhakta is drawn in devotion. Bhai Pragata Kripala Dina Dayala. We know, we sing, Ramachandra's come. The Bhakta is in ecstasy of the highest. The Janani, those who seek the path of knowledge, when Rama appears before him, like Valmiki Rishi, what happens? The Bhakta, the Janani, or those who took the path of knowledge, he left behind body feeling, body consciousness, and he just dwelt in his self, Paramatman. The knowledge, the bhakti, the devotion, they all lead to what? The communion with our true self. And who represents that true self? Bhagwan Rama, who comes at the end of this Navaraatri, his birthday is celebrated. And how the Navaraatri prepares us for that? By tapping our own strength from within. Icha Shakti, Kriya Shakti, dynamism, will, and Jnana Shakti, knowledge. And that leads us to the presence, the experience of the higher self. It is a real rejuvenation. It is a real rekindling of the spirit, the higher spirit that we are. And the world, regardless of what they say or do now, everyone will have to come to pass through this process. Parvati, who represents this cosmos, asks Lord Shiva of this ultimate attainment, this ultimate goal that Rama is. Tell me about it, my Lord, tell me. I want to know. And this is what Navaratris prepare us. Parvati's own power, power of action, Kriya Shakti, Mother Durga, power of the will, Icha Shakti, Lakshmi Mata, power of wisdom, of the intellect, Jnana Shakti, Mother Saraswati, Parvati's own manifestations of our own power within the human being wants her power to come to know the source. So she asks Shiva, tell me about this source that Rama is, that he comes, he's manifested as a human, as a baby in the kingdom of King Dasarat to Mother Kaushalya in Awadpuri, Ayodhya. Tell me, O Lord. This is what we must want to know. Who this Rama is. All the powers in us as Durga, as Lakshmi, as Saraswati. We gather in all the various manifestations of the energy in us for Ram Navami. Who is this Ram? This amazing conversation in this Ramayana. The questions she asks of Shiva. Tell me, how such Lord, who is nameless, formless, attributeless, is he really this master of this universe that comes in the human form for the human being to lift himself to the spirit? And notice Parvati power is preparing us for that moment of Ram Navami. And that's why we have this what we call this Vasant-Chaitra-Raama Navaraatri. The process of rejuvenation. Look, Parvati continues in this Ramayana. She says, Ati arati puchao suraraya Raghupati Katha Kahu Karidhaya Pratama Sukarana Kahu Bichari Nirguna Brahma Saguna Bhapudhari. Parvati says that, my Lord, I ask you with a heart sore distress, and this is a problem, because we have been pulled and allow ourselves to be pulled away so far into the path of the pleasant, of the destructive path, that we lose touch of our real self. And Navaraatri is to rekindle that. It comes in the spring, Vasant, to make us reborn into the spirit of Bhagavan, Paramatman. Without that rebirth, we are all sorely distressed, as Parvati says. Tell me, she says, be gracious enough to narrate Raghupati Katha Kahu Kari Daya. Be gracious, be compassionate, and narrate to me the story of Raghupati, of this Ram who is coming in Ram Navami. First, she says, tell me, Pratama So Karan Kahahu Bichari. Tell me first. After a mature thought, after bichar, after thinking deeply, she says to Lord Shiva, tell me the story how this Lord, Raghupati, unqualified Brahman, nameless, formless, attributeless, which is your own self, she says, Shiva, how he assumed this form. Nirguna Brahma Saguna Bhapudhari. How does this Nirguna, nameless, formless, attributeless, unseen, intangible, how this Nirguna, she says, Nirguna Brahma Saguna Bhapudhari, how this Nirguna manifested itself, become a form with name, attribute, qualities, and he walked amongst the human. Tell me about that. This Navaraatri ends with that manifestation. Parvati is setting out the actual. Parvati really, let me tell you, is used by Tulsidas, the poet, as the questioner, and Shiva as the teacher. He answers, right? This is Tulsi's poetic skills. The questions of Parvati are the dire questions of you and I, the answers for which are necessary for you and I to speed up our spiritual journey. Navaraatri is to aid that process. Tell me the story, she says, she goes on. She says, tell me this, the story, how this Rama descent in the human garb, and how he performed Puni Prabhu Kahu Rama Avatara. Tell me how he takes his form, how he descend. Bhala Charita Puni Kahu Udhara. And tell me of his childhood sports. Tell me of his charita, of his charming, most heart-rendering activities, Leela. I want to know. But to know that, this is the point, to be prepared for that requires a certain state of mind, a certain state of intellect, a certain vision of life. If not, all knowledge can come upon you and it's like water on a leaf. It rolls away. To prepare that, Parvati's energies invoked Kriya Shakti Durga, Icha Shakti Lakshmi, Jnana Shakti Saraswati. And Navaraatri keeps making us a worthy vessel to receive this glory and power. When we meet in the new week, we will continue from here. Until then, May grace of Mother be with all of us. May Sri Ramachandra bless all of us. Jai Sri Ram, Jai Mata Di.